Well, as council debates what to do next with this brewing controversy, there are questions about why taxpayers were never really presented with a stripped-down bridge replacement rather than the more expensive model that is now being discussed. Well, some now want the city to consider a cheaper design. Experts say that could turn into a financial nightmare. Kristen Robinson has that part of the story.
When Victoria voters were asked if they wanted to replace the aging Johnson Street Bridge or refurbish it, more than 60% said yes to the city borrowing $49.2 million to replace it at a cost of $77 million. The November 2010 referendum did not include an option for a plain Jane bridge, and it was never presented seriously to taxpayers. Now, even a stripped-down version would cost $77 million.
I think $77 million will be enough to build this bridge, but the bridge is not going to be the liking of the people.
A plain Jane bridge would not look good, according to this independent structural engineer who specializes in bridges and has worked on the city's Bay Street Bridge, and the price tag too could rise.
The design is not being done yet, so you expect that number to go higher, the same as with option one, which they start also with about that number, and right now it is about $92 million. So I expect even with option 3, the prices will be higher than the $77 million.
So we could go do some work and change how it looks, take items off, but then bring in a bridge that costs the taxpayer of Victoria more.
The 2010 referendum cost $324,000. A cheap bridge would require another costly referendum, and federal funding would be at risk due to the change in scope. Bridge project managers did look at the South Park Bridge in Seattle. Construction on a new $130 million double-leaf bascule bridge started last summer. Although longer than Victoria's Johnson Street Bridge, South Park was built in the 1920s and is seismically vulnerable. But the new model didn't fit for Victoria, where a wider width was needed for marine traffic.
We should not aspire to less and dilute something of such importance. A main approach to downtown.
Architect Frank D'Ambrosio is not surprised the bridge is over budget. He wanted to see it refurbished for its architecture and engineering, but now says the city must forge ahead with the design voters approved.
It would be tragic to dilute it, and it would be tragic to miss this opportunity to use that project to actually repair the traffic flows